Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the UN 2.0 AI Expo. Please say hi in the chat and introduce yourself with your name, your organization, and location so we can start some networking and getting to know each other. This event is jointly presented by the UN Digital and Data community. So I'm excited to be joined in a session by Fiona Sisi today. Creating a platform for these kinds of AI initiatives that we're presenting today is what the UNDP communities are really good at. And over the next hour, 8 UN colleagues will be presenting their work in 2 rounds of lightning pitches. Today, we will give you a preview of a brand new platform that doesn't only feature the 8 initiatives presented today, but a total of over 800 AI projects from across the UN system. And so before we head into the expo, I want to hand over the mic to my colleague Jin from the ITU for an exclusive preview of this new resource. Jin, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia, and thank you, colleagues, for joining this session. I would like to recap a little bit of how we got here. Maybe start from the Intelligence Working Group on Artificial Intelligence. Established in 2020, the Intelligence Working Group brings together more than 50 UN entities to enhance system-wide policy alignment and pragmatical coordination on artificial intelligence, and has developed key initiatives like the UN Ethical Principle for AI and the UN System-wide Paper on AI Governance. Now, several resolutions adopted by member states recognize the work of the Intelligence Working Group, and the role is underscored in the ANGA AI Modalities Resolution, which requests the Secretary General to facilitate appropriate Secretariat support for the AI Scientific Panel and also the AI Governance Dialogue by leveraging UN system-wide capabilities, specifically including those of the Intelligence Working Group on AI. Now, entering its 6th year, the Intelligence Working Group transitioned into a stable institutional coordination mechanism. Actually, since last October, the working group has been focusing on the development on this UN AI Resource Hub, which is designed to promote UN AI capacity building and resource harmonization. Now the platform has been developed through collaborative contributions from UNDP, ITU, UNESCO, literally all our Intelligence Working Group member entities. So sincerely thank you very much for your contribution. The UN AI Resource Hub is to be officially launched at the Digital at ANGA event next Monday in New York. We'll share a set of social media materials, and you are more than welcome to share across your networks. And now we'll showcase a brief demonstration video highlighting the functionality and the utility of the hub. Thank you very much.
Search, discover, coordinate. Welcome to the UN AI Resource Hub. This platform allows UN leadership, staff, and other stakeholders to quickly find resources, drive collaboration, and reduce the duplication of efforts. Search activities and filter by region, country, activity type, related SDG, and beneficiary. For a world view, search via the global map and explore all activities per country. Learn about each activity's purpose, partnerships, and impact metrics. Connect directly with the focal point for collaboration and check out linked assets. Find existing resources on internal UN AI guidance and upskilling. Explore the full range of UN offers and programs for and with governments across specific regions. And discover AI tools and solutions built or deployed by UN teams. Through the submission portal, AI activities can be easily reviewed and updated, and new entries can be created at any time. The organization admin has access to all submissions to ensure quality control. Together, we are thrilled to launch the central hub for all UN AI activities, empowering UN leadership and stakeholders to quickly find resources, drive collaboration, and unlock new opportunities for greater impact. All right, thank you so much, Jin. Let me get back to our presentation to officially kick off the session and invite the fantastic 8 speakers we have with us today to the panel. While I do that, let me invite you to share all your questions in the Q&A box, which will make it easy for us to consolidate all answers and share them with all participants after the session. Since we have a tight agenda, we want to make sure we get to all of them. So the more you share in the chat, the more you can interact with the speakers after the session. All right, and so with that, I want to head straight into the expo and introduce our first round of speakers. We have Barbara Bromova joining us from the UNDP, Amin Baha from the World Food Programme, Federica Tornicasa from UN Women, and finally Yunpei Takami from the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs. And so without further ado, I want to hand over the mic to Barbara. We are very strict with time. We have a timer up on the left screen. I have 3 minutes, and thank you for joining. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Julia. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Barbara. I am a data and AI project analyst with the UNDP's newly established Digital AI and Innovation Hub, and I lead the implementations of the local language accelerators that I'll be talking to you about today. Generally, I work on the data team for global development, advising governments and local partners to design the best possible AI-driven and data-driven and AI-supported policies. But on the next slide, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the language-based digital divide that we see emerging in the AI age. Currently, most AI systems that have been transforming our digital landscape are only developed for a handful of languages, around 15 actually, out of the 7,000 languages that are spoken around the world are considered well-resourced for AI innovation, with most indigenous local languages completely left out of AI development. This means that around 1.2 billion people speak indigenous and local languages that cannot rely on AI technologies and experience it as a barrier to effective digitalization, cannot benefit from the latest innovations, and also struggle to meaningfully connect to many of the exciting projects that we are developing as the UN system. So our solution for that digital divide on the next slide here is the local language accelerator that combines the latest language technologies, OCR, other NLP tooling, text-to-speech, speech-to-text systems, with new data governance models that try to prevent data extractivism and make sure that local communities maintain the agency over their data. We also build strong local partnerships and data sharing agreements that respect once again, local agency over the data collected, and considering the fact that technical expertise is still very unequally distributed across the globe, we invite leading experts to advise these implementations locally as well. Generally, we have 10 implementations ongoing across 4 different continents. You can see the countries listed here, and each project is quite different in their focus, covering both voice and text data. I know that some of our colleagues from the Republic of Congo country office who have been working with us on this are on this call today. But generally, we are very open to new collaborations. We have experience working with public institutions, NGOs, startups. Universities are an important partner on this work to jointly deploy new solutions, collect AI-ready data sets, and develop new public interest applications. I know my 3 minutes are over now. and Julia is very strict with time, so I'll finish my intervention here. But if you want to speak to me about the solution, please do email me and we can have a chat.
Thank you so much, Barbara. And with that, over to you. Amin, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Julia. Hi, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're connecting from. So my name is Amin Baha. I lead the AI innovation effort within the WFP Innovation Accelerator, where our mission is to build scalable AI solutions for humanitarian response. So my team focus on frontier technology that can accelerate how we serve vulnerable communities. And today, we will walk you through Sky, so an AI system designed to transform how we assess damage after disasters. So what's the problem today we are speaking about? So after a disaster, every hour counts. So yet assessing damage on the ground can take weeks. Experts still rely heavily on manual investigation and satellite image labeling, which slow down the emergency response. So this delay affects everything from search and rescue to food assistance. So especially in the crucial first 72 hours of the emergency response. And depending on the scale and location, the level of destruction often remains unclear for too long. So what has been our solutions and our approach? So it's about Sky for the next slide. So it's a solution that aims to accelerate early decision making by analyzing high resolution satellite image with AI to pinpoint where damage is most severe. So instead of weeks, Sky highlights priority areas within a single few days. So it's an automated granular system built to work across different geographies, type of disasters, and building environments. And because it was co-developed with Google Research and released has an open source solutions, it's accessible and designed for global scalability and capacity buildings across any institutions, organizations, or governments. So moving to what we have been able to achieve so far in terms of impact, since we have launched Sky, we have been able to evaluate millions of buildings across multiple crises and quickly flag large numbers of severely damaged infrastructure. So it's about 4 million buildings in total that has been scanned. The efficiency gain were significant, both in terms of costs and speed, making rapid assessment accessible for large-scale disasters. So we keep expanding Sky capabilities, features, and functionalities from leveraging Sky imagery in partnership with the Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technologies that will offer us to reduce even the time assessment and also to overcome some challenges like cloud coverage, but also to go to detect and map refugee settlements moving forward. So the systems has already helped channel over also $1 million in emergency cash assistance for partners like Give Directly that use it during major hurricanes in the USA. And today we are looking for collaborators who wants to push the frontiers of 24 hours disaster intelligence, where through capabilities, buildings, co-developments, and new features, or investment of next mature AI deployment. So I know I came to the end of the timer. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me to look at the UN AI Resource Hub and free to contact with me or the team. We'll be happy to support.
Thank you so much, Amin. And handing over to our next speaker, Federica.
Hello everyone, my name is Federica Torlincasa. I'm a program analyst on AI innovation and skills for gender equality at the UN Women Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific, and today I'm here to talk about the AI School. So let's deep dive into it. Around the world, as you can see in the next slide, we talk about the promise of artificial intelligence, but the reality is that not everyone has a fair chance to shape that future. Women remain dramatically underrepresented in designing AI systems and receive just a tiny share of global investment. Only a handful of national AI strategies include gender-responsive measures, and in many low-income countries, most women are still offline, exclude them from the same technologies that will define tomorrow's jobs, services, and opportunities. This gap, of course, matter because if women are not in the room where AI is imagined, built, and governed, then the system we create will contribute to amplify the inequalities that we're already seeing. So what's the solution in the next slide? To provide a bold answer to this challenge, we designed the UN Women High School, bringing together UN personnel, youth, policymakers, underrepresented communities to learn not only how AI works, but also how we can work for equality. And our vision is kind of simple. We want to power a movement where women learn, build, and govern safe, inclusive AI. To do so, we offer hands-on tailored learning track for policymakers, UN personnel, and civil society organizations, including women-led organizations and youth activists. And our curriculum covers everything from responsible AI and productivity enhancement to prompt engineering, AI for communication, data safety, and so on and so forth. And we also go a step further because we co-develop with our students custom AI tools, agents, and strategies so that they can immediately apply what they learn once they finish the school in their offices, in their communities, sometimes even in the policies that they shape. What about the results? What did we achieve? In just 1 year, the AI school has reached over 3,000 participants across Asia Pacific and beyond, achieving 100% overall satisfaction. Participants consistently report higher confidence, stronger AI skills, and a clearer vision of how to integrate responsible AI into daily work. But most importantly, we are seeing people taking action. We are shifting who gets to shape their digital future. So the AI school is proving that when women and underrepresented communities are given the tools, the confidence, and the opportunity to lead, the future of AI becomes fairer and more inclusive. So my time is almost up. Hence, if you want to be part of shaping what comes next, please reach out to us because the future of AI is only equitable if we build it together across sectors and perspectives. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this amazing call to action and staying on time without having the timer to guide you. So for the next and final speaker of the first round, let's put the timer back up and welcome Junpei.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. So my name is Junpei. I'm now working at the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs and the UN Spider team. I like the name of this. Yeah. Today I'd like to show off policy brief from our side. Why do we approach? So the current space AI systems are used for the disaster monitoring can fail the most vulnerable so that if they are biased or unequal. So access to data and then technology is highly fragmented and then new AI models are being deployed faster than we can regulate them. So our policy brief address fundamental question. So how can space AI truly benefit everyone? So how do we approach? So we propose 5 pillars for the responsible AI. So first one is ethics and then transparency. So guarantee human oversight in critical AI operations. And then second one is the equity and the capacity building. So support developing nations access to data and technology. So third one is a model evaluation, assess large-scale models for societal impact, not just accuracy. Fourth is a sustainability, ensure AI tools don't create new environmental borders. Burden. So also the fifth one is the data integrity. So provide full provenance tracking for all geospatial products. So these pillars form the foundation for responsible space AI. So what is the call to action? So we are developing concrete guidance and then ask 3 things of you. So use as a checklist, like apply our 5 objectives to use for your AI project, and then partnership help us pilot evaluation methods and then share data and then share insights. So keep this agenda moving forward by sharing your lessons. So thank you for having me. Anyway, so let's work together to ensure space AI advances to SDGs. Thank you so much. You can reach me out anything, and then also you can type in the email and then access to our resource hub. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Junpei. Thank you for all fantastic speakers in this first round and for setting the bar so high for the next presentations to come. We've already seen a few questions come in, but please also feel free to share in the chat, not the Q&A, what stands out to you as new or exciting from what you just heard, and do you see any of these projects connecting to current priorities that you have in your teams? We would love to hear some of your thoughts in the chat. And now for the next round of presentations, I'd like to hand over to my colleague Fiona, who will introduce us to who's next.
Hi, everyone, and thanks, Julia, and the first round of speakers for such an efficient first round. We'll try to do our best for the second round as well. So we have 4 speakers in the second round, and with that, I am happy to pass it to Lihui Xu from UNESCO. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Li Hui here from UNESCO. I'm a program specialist from the AI ethics of AI team of UNESCO. So we coordinate and facilitate the global implementation of a UNESCO recommendation on the ethics of AI. And the one that I want to present today is called Readiness Assessment Methodology. It's a key implementation tool that help us to implement our recommendations mandated by member states to help them to assess their readiness of AI across legal, social, scientific, economic, and technical domain. It's ambitions to translate the mandate into a structural framework. So we often talk about a country's AI readiness, but what we typically see is only the surface, right? The AI strategies, policies, pilot development, or infrastructure announcements, which represent only a friction of what true readiness require. But to understand the whole AI landscape that lie deeper challenges, right? We have fragmented evidence, limited cross-ministerial coordination, insufficient process to engage diverse stakeholders, and the absence of a common reference point for benchmarking gaps or share good practices. So that's when the readiness assessment come into the picture. So very briefly, I have limited time. What is RAM? In the next slide. So it's a structured process that supports countries to assess their readiness for the design, development, use, and deployment of AI ethically. So it's a collection of information based on the standard questionnaire, but also a series of stakeholder consultations. So in this way, that countries look into the areas of work that may have very weak or strong signals linking to AI, something that they may not even think about in the past. And it's not an exercise to score or to rank a country. It's not a desk-based effort to only collect quantitative indicators. Rather, it's a participatory process that engage different ministries, relevant stakeholders to produce evidence that supports policy dialogue and reform. Next slide, please. So a little bit about where we are. So since 2022, we are doing this exercise now in 70 countries with over 17 stakeholders globally who take part into this exercise. And very exciting, policy update from the very recent completion of the RAM. We see this RAM findings is being fed into the national policy and strategies in Tanzania, Indonesia, and Turkey, and also enable us to provide technical assistance and capacity building efforts in the country based on their requests and demand. Next slide. So in the last slide, just want to list some opportunity for collaborations, and because assessment is just the start. And also we want to highlight the collaboration with UNDP because they have the AI landscape assessment. So that's a pilot we are doing in Trinidad Tobago, trying to harmonize the consultation process and to formulation of joint recommendation to the government in terms to have a coherent policy recommendation for the next steps. I will stop here. Happy to discuss further with any interest colleagues. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. A great starting point, truly, for countries looking to embark or strengthen their AI journey and assess their readiness in doing so. Really, really great work. Next up, we have Xenia Fontan from ITU. Over to you, Xenia.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Good morning, good afternoon, dear colleagues and guests. My name is Xenia Fontaine, and I'm Senior Business Development Officer at ITU, and I'm leading the AI for Good platform. Next slide, please. So when we created AI for Good in 2017, the technology was available just to a few, but today we can surely say that AI entered the mainstream, and we all agree that AI holds a great potential to solve global challenges from climate to affordable healthcare and personalized education. But of course, AI comes with a risk on safety, privacy, misinformation, security, and more. Next slide. So when we created AI for Good, we do this together with a multi-stakeholder community, 53 UN partners, governments, industry, academia, and civil society. And we focus on 4 main areas of action, multi-stakeholder dialogue. You all know us as the AI for Good Global Summit hosted in Geneva, but we also run lots of regional impacts events focusing on local AI solutions for local needs. And we run the Neural Network online community platform, which now has over 55,000 experts from 180 countries, bringing together knowledge and expertise on AI in different industry layers. We also work on capacity building and AI skills through different initiatives and projects like AI Skills Coalition, Robotics for Good Use competition, machine learning challenges focused on researchers and university students. And of course, ITU hosted for 2 years the AI governance days during the summit, bringing together hundreds of ministers and regulators and from developing countries. And one of the principles of implementation of AI governance are standards. So currently we have over 400 AI standards and technical specifications focusing on different areas from energy efficiency, multimedia, security, technical specifications, and more. And next slide, please. I'm not sure about the timing. And of course, working together with many partners, including UNDP and UNESCO on AI skills and democratizing access to AI education, that would be very important for AI integration globally, which is our AI Skills Coalition is focused on 4 main pillars. So we are developing courses and having an online learning library available for everyone to take AI courses in now 13 languages. So this is available globally, and you can check it out on our website. We also work on localized flagship models. We have projects running across the world. Currently, the flagship one with Google and the will.i.am as AI Skills Ambassador, creating AI and robotics trainings for kids in 5 African countries. We also support governments on policy and AI toolkits for AI implementation locally. And of course, we just launched this week the AI for Good discovery badges, and this is really to accelerate the AI upskilling through our online webinars. So those badges are available on the Neural Network platform, and anyone who is joining our webinar can get them and actually leverage their career and post it on the LinkedIn. Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm over time.
I think we're doing really well with time, so it's okay if the timer didn't start for that presentation. Thank you, Ksenia. And I speak for many of us when I say we're all following the AI for Good Summit and ecosystem very closely, so it's really great to learn more about it. Next up, we have Rebecca Moreno Jimenez from UNHCR.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone, colleagues. I'm Rebecca Moreno. I'm the lead data scientist for UNHCR Innovation Service. I'm in charge of one of the 4 funds that we have, and I'm going to post it here on the chat, which is the Data Innovation Fund, where we try to incubate ideas. It's an entrepreneurship fund for colleagues in UNHCR that have an idea that they want to advance in terms of data analytics or emerging technologies such as AI. So next slide, please. So under this fund, we incubate many. There's one specifically for refugees, but this one is under the data fund, and it's about integration of refugees via what we call self-reliance. So it's like autonomy for them, trying to find jobs and economic inclusion. One of our things, or the challenge for UNHCR, is how to integrate refugees that are newly arrived into host communities and countries, wherever they're trying to get their, permission to work or the refugee status determination. So our agency advocates for them to be integrated and to be included in these jobs pathways. So what we do as an institution is we provide a seed capital for those who are doing entrepreneurship and actually some orientation process, how to access to the host community market, the legislation that they need to take into consideration to open the business, and of course, advocating with the financial institutions for them to have formal access to banking, et cetera, and training them, especially on digital tools, for them to be able to develop their business plans, especially those without digital skills. So, for example, you can see here, this is Olga Cardoso, one of our refugees that actually is, it's an entrepreneur with their sewing shop. Next slide, please. So for these, one of our teams, the multi-country office Argentina, next slide, in Paraguay, specifically multi-country office Argentina covers many countries. Paraguay team had this idea that it was taking a lot of time for refugees to be able to draft their business plans. They didn't know all the regulation in Paraguay. Some of them are newly arrived, and they need to log into many different websites of the host, in this case, Paraguay government, right? In one is your tax registration, and another one is your business registration, another one is your bank account registration as a business. So they decided and created alongside refugees, which is the community participatory assessment, focus group discussions on what type of things are they usually struggling to find. And they created an AI-powered business plans planning tool. So they could do their own business plans and according to the Paraguayan legislation, right? So it was supported by the fund. It also breaks the barriers, some of the technical barriers. So there was a few trainings that we needed to do for some of them that it was the first time using generative AI. And also it was co-created by some of the, well, not only the local government, but some entrepreneurs that already have businesses in the countries that they were before, and some advisors. Next slide. Finally, the impact, just to make you, is transforming the life of women, especially. 60% of the entrepreneurs provided were women, and of course, providing dignity, autonomy, and for them to be able to avoid or reduce a dependency of our grants. So yeah, if you want to watch the project video, I'm going to put it in the chat. And of course, if they share the slides, you can click on the video there.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rebecca Moreno. And we will for sure be sharing these slides with everyone. So please do feel free to reach out. And last but certainly not least, we have Charles Ovink from the Office for Disarmament Affairs. Over to you, Charles.
Hi, everyone. I'm Charlie Ovink, and I lead this work on promoting responsible innovation in AI for peace and security. So it's clearly well recognized that while there are benefits from AI, it can also have serious societal impacts. And current responsible AI efforts, some of which we've heard about today, largely looking at the civilian sphere, are doing great work making this clear. However, the dual-use nature means that even AI that is developed for good purposes can be misused with consequences for international peace and security. And it's this area which often falls in a gap between military-focused AI governance processes, like those on lethal autonomous weapon systems, and civilian-focused efforts, like the GDC or the EU AI Act. So the good news is that AI practitioners can themselves be engaged to help mitigate these risks through responsible practices. The bad news is that while there is a wide acceptance of the need for such practices, they do not form the part of standard STEM curricula. So this initiative is a reaction to three interrelated problems and is possible thanks to the support of the EU. The first is that AI can be misused, including for influencing, enabling cyber operations at scale, and even in kinetic operations. As a further challenge, the bar for such use may be lower for irresponsible non-state actors. Second, that the misuse of civilian AI is not a problem that any actors can address on their own and is under-addressed by relatively siloed current governance processes. And third, that those working on AI in the civilian sector remain too often unaware of these risks and the role they can play in addressing them. And the role that they can play in addressing the problems of misuse, So, in fact, these people, the AI practitioners themselves, can form a kind of upstream enabling support to peace and security efforts on AI. So it's been core to our work has been looking at future generations of AI practitioners and developing their capacities for responsible innovation in order to help address these risks in the long term. This work was extensive, and you can see it on the next slide. So I won't go into a lot of detail, but I will provide a QR code on the final slide. It includes the thematic multi-stakeholder dialogues with high-profile experts from governments, academia, and industry, closed private sector roundtables covering industry-specific issues with actors from like OpenAI to SMEs, in-person workshops targeted at graduate students in AI disciplines, work with professors and faculty from STEM fields exploring ways to sensitize future AI practitioners to dual-use risks, risk management, and so on, a podcast series featuring interviews with key figures from the AI community like Google DeepMind, Emily Bender, the Tech Envoy, a blog series allowing external actors to share their insights and innovative ideas, and especially a practical handbook for technical practitioners on how to engage in responsible innovation for peace and security, including a risk management framework, and a policy report that captures our key takeaways generated from these activities and years of research, providing states and others with the recommendations necessary to scale them. So I'll end on the final slide now. And critically, this multi-stakeholder work has centered building the responsible innovation capacities of future practitioners and building out existing responsible practices to include peace and security risks, rather than trying to invent entirely new commitments, principles, or frameworks. So the training in the multi-stakeholder network has been taken up by hundreds, with PhDs returning to their home institutions to replicate that training and using the handbook and other materials, which have been taken up further and disseminated by faculty and are now employed in curricula on 3 continents. So the call is to use these materials that we're sharing, but also has really highlighted the value of engagement, not just with us, but with others and across disciplines. And last of all, especially the imagination value of thinking outside of silos. So especially outside of the silos that we sort of work in by default within a UN environment. So I'm happy to answer any further questions on this, and I'll give the floor back.
Thank you so much, Charlie. I think we have a lot of questions already in the chat coming through. So let's get to that. Next slide, Julia. Okay, so before we get into Q&A, do let us know in the chat if you haven't done so already. What's one key insight you're taking away from today's session? What resonated most with you from the discussion? And then we will get into Q&A. Julia, correct me if I'm wrong, but people should be able to unmute themselves.
I believe so. At the very least, people should be able to raise their hand and we can unmute them for them. We had a lot of questions from our colleague Kieran McGovern. If you would like to take the stage and ask one of the unanswered questions or reflect on the questions on the screen, you're welcome to do so. And I'll make sure that you're unmuted. I think you're already okay. Awesome.
Thanks, Julie, and thanks to all the hosts. I won't turn on my camera. It's very late here in Bangkok, but hi to all the colleagues and connecting. Thanks for the session. The initial platform that is due to launch next week, will there be an API key? I see the interface is very friendly to humans interacting with it, but now that we're looking for machine readability, I'm wondering if there'll be an aspect to that platform. Once again, thank you for the network and maintaining the network to both of you. Thank you.
Quick clarification, Kieran, you're referring to this apologies. So the collection of AI initiatives shared on this new platform, which the 8 showcases will be a part of?
Yeah, the one at the very beginning of this session, because I also saw that ODET launched also a database of initiatives as well, maybe not as refined, but that was the question. Yeah, the one that was to launch next week that was mentioned at the beginning of the session. Thank you.
Sure. Happy to get in touch on that further and loop in the team working on this, including ITU and UNESCO, as well as UNDP. What the platform provides, most importantly, is this collaborative aspect of getting to access existing initiatives submitted previously to the UN AI Resource Report. That's been an annual project. But also to submit any new ones kind of throughout the year and keep them updated as the impact of the initiative grows. But yeah, we'll make sure to get in touch on that. And I believe Fiona had spotted another set of questions where we could potentially invite someone to speak to the panel.
Yes, I think Leonard Rosen from UNDP asked a couple of questions. So if you're able to unmute yourself, Leonard, go ahead.
Yeah, I wish it was Leonard Cohen. So I think my first question is directed at access to projects. I feel like there's a lot of AI projects in the UN ecosystem, but a lot of them don't share their code base. So there's a lot of like duplicates of projects. Do you know if there's an effort within the UN to address this? And do you have any ideas how we could address this?
So part of what this hub is meant to do is to at least create that visibility of what kind of projects are out there, and then to connect on whether solutions are open source, whether code can be shared, approaches can be shared. And so what you're addressing, this duplication of efforts, is very much at the core of why this initiative was created. There's a lot of work, as I'm sure you know, going on across the UN system on open source. It does raise an idea to maybe make clearer on the resource hub to kind of indicate whether the project that you'll read about is open source, has been created with open source resources, which could make collaboration easier. But what you can always do using this hub is reach out to the focal point question and engage with them directly on the kind of resources that have been used.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think the next question has been answered by Barbara already, about satellite imagery and the availability thereof. But maybe there's also other replies to this. Maybe there's also other sources to this. But is there a standardized way of how you as a UN or I as a UN entity could get my hands on satellite data? So I think specifically for my use case, it would be high resolution images, like 50 centimeter resolution.
Maybe this is a question that also Junpei can speak to. Amin also, I believe, would be welcome
okay.
to.
Yeah, thanks so much. So the at the UN, or I had like a UN OICT also had a took a lead like Airbus or Max. So some of the UN agency has such like a contract for the non-profit contract of really download higher the resolution aspect. But also there happen like so duplications for one UN agency by the same images from another agency, such a problem. So that's why UNOOSA is now launching an IPO program initiative, so that who are UN agencies can download and download from the specific platform, so to avoid duplication for the higher resolution paid like a tasking or acquisition tasks or work. So but that's still ongoing. So my supervisor also taking initiatives, Laurent Kudaran. So I would say, to avoid such a duplication for the purchasing and then higher resolution image download also now ongoing to, we are working on that. Sorry, that's what I want to say that.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I think I would also maybe just contact you directly regarding that.
Sure.
If you don't mind. Thank you so much. The next question would be regarding local languages. I do identify this as a huge problem. Currently working in Mongolia, and I'm having a very hard time, for example, building chatbots in Mongolian, because even like the big ones have very limited Mongolian support. I know that there are some projects that are able to retrain language models on new languages. I just wanted to ask if you know of a initiative that does that, maybe like a UN initiative that maybe we could hand over to, for example, the Mongolian government, because this is also something they're struggling with.
Maybe I can take this one. So the UNDP Local Language Accelerator is the sort of support program that UNDP has, and we do work with governments or public sector institutions in each country. Currently, we have 10 ongoing, and we sort of deploy it as a very flexible support program to identify what the issue is in each individual language case and what the community needs in that particular situation. Oftentimes it's data gaps that can be addressed through data creation, data digitalization efforts, but sometimes it's also the sort of efficacy of model fine-tuning or other questions that are very important and pressing. So we help the community identify this. We help sort of implement workflows within the organization frequently that allow efficient use. Sometimes this is also about data licensing that can get quite sensitive around indigenous languages, for example. And then we help channel all of this towards some SDG relevant use cases. I'm very happy to chat to you more about the specific case in Mongolia if you'd like. We haven't worked there so far, but we have some projects ongoing in the region, so very happy to discuss.
Oh, super cool. Yeah, thank you so much. That would be amazing. Yeah, I'm also gonna keep it brief, so I'm gonna just jump on to my next question, which is also my last question, which is about AI courses. So I have noticed that in my regional office, the AI literacy could definitely um, be a bit better. So I organized a workshop, and I was wondering if where I could turn to resources for such a workshop on AI literacy. And I bet there's like a ton of resources out there, and maybe I could get some recommendations. Also, fine if you just answered in the chat to keep it brief if other people also have questions. I don't want to take up all the time myself. Yeah, but this would be very useful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. No, this is a community event, so it's great that we have the time to actually have you speak up and ask questions. I believe Ksenia had her hand up, and since this is on AI capacity, maybe this is a great point for her to come in. Also, Federica, I saw your hand up, so please feel free to compliment.
Yeah, thanks so much, Julia. Actually, this is to respond to Leonard's two questions. So regarding the open source models to build an LLM. So we have a program at ITU which is called Open Source Open Source AI for Public Services, and basically we provide already a Gen AI model that can be used for very low cost or even for free by the governments in the country sets. So I'm happy to share more details. We are already implementing this in certain countries in Africa, so really focusing on local languages so that you can definitely leverage. And on your second question for the courses, so we have an online portfolio of courses that you can use, and we have a partner with whom we work in Mongolia, Girls Can Code, and they are developing some learning resources. So I'm also happy to take this offline and connect you with our partner there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's all my questions. So I'm going to mute myself now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if I might integrate a bit from the Asia Pacific Regional Office of UN Women, we also with the high school are working on capacity building. Mostly our civil society organizations and grassroots level are one of our key focus. So I saw Ahmad leaving in the chat, Ahmad Karim, also at UN Women, leaving in the chat a link to all the resources which are open source and can be used. And we can also have chat as well in the spirit of collaboration. Thank you. Over.
Thank you so much to both. And Charles has his hands up, so I'm going to hand over to him.
Thank you very much. This is just picking up on the same question about resources and also on given the community nature that you're flagging. These are non-UN resources, but these are coming from the Center for Responsible AI at NYU, which is one of the partners I work with on my project. And they have amazing materials. They have a GitHub. They have comics in multiple languages, including English, Spanish, Ukrainian, and Russian, I think, and a number of other resources that are very good, whether you're coming from a pure literacy sense of trying to explain basic concepts, and especially responsible innovation concepts, but also especially if you go on the GitHub side, then materials that are more directly aimed at STEM audiences. I'll share the link in the chat, but I couldn't recommend it more. They also have completely separate from the UN a bunch of work that trains new audiences. So sometimes librarians, sometimes senators in the US and things like that, that might be interested in those concepts.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. I'm seeing a a note by Jeremy Boy in the chat, who's a colleague at UNDP. Was a question raised on access to imagery, data, and UNDP projects in that field. So a contact to who to reach out to was shared in that comment. If whoever asked that can go to the Q&A, you'll find that response there. Fiona, have I missed any open questions in the Q&A, or would any one of our participants like to raise their hand to come in?
Not participant, but a speaker, something that we work with HR. We have in our internal workday, which is the HR system, some of you have it in your agencies, and an agreement with LinkedIn Learning. So with the HR team, innovation, and the IT team, we curate at least because we discovered that digital skills for AI in the UNHCR are very different depending on your type of role. So people that are information management officers, data scientists, that are like advanced skills, so they can build their own tools. And some, of course, of our legal officers are just discovering, and we're entering via the policy side. So we curate at least with the main UN documents and also some of the training from LinkedIn Learning. I mean, I don't know if you have access to it, maybe from your own LinkedIn, but should you want that curate list, and we put them by basic knowledge, intermediate knowledge, and advanced, meaning you can code. And so that was being kind of circulated in the agency, but I can gladly share it if of need. But I think that's more a tip for your agencies if you're championing AI, pair up with HR team or where your framework agreements for learning, and curate at least with the 3 different levels, because I think they're overwhelmed when they listen to AI, and so they really want to have like, a division, like if I'm here, and how do they know? I usually put like, can you call your advanced? Intermediate, like, do you understand what's prompting engineer? And then that's maybe intermediate, and then some of our colleagues are like Iran at the beginning when they launched, I remember ChatGPT in 2022, and we gave a webinar. They were saying like, what is this? And we were like, that's ChatGPT. Are you using your VPN? And they were like, we have never seen it. I was like, oh yeah, embargo. So you have a digital divide just by being in another country. So we needed to train that team separately, asking them to use their VPN. So that's another one for some of the countries.
Yeah, thank you, Rebecca Morin. I think LinkedIn Learning should be widely accessible, but I'm not too sure. At least in the UN Secretariat, colleagues should be able to access the learning pathways there. So yeah, great tip. Did anyone else want to come in before we wrap up, or? Okay, I think Julia, did you want to share the rest of the slides so we can wrap up the session?
Yes, let's do it. This is a luxury that we never have time to spare. And I think it's because of how amazingly our speakers were efficient with their slides, and really grateful for that, and very happy that we actually, for once, had the time to get to colleagues' questions. So let me pull up the overview of UN 2.0 communities that you can share if you'd like to engage in more conversations like this. We have a dedicated community to behavioral science. Fiona, joining us here, is representing the data strategy community. The UN digital community will be in the future collaborating a lot with the data community because, of course, there's a lot of shared work and overlap. There's a community for strategic foresight specifically, and the longest standing community in the UN space, the UN Innovation Network, also brings together a network of, I believe, over 10,000 colleagues. So worth checking out. If you scan the QR code, and I believe we can put the link in the chat too, you can express interest in either of the communities or all of them. All right, you're also, of course, invited to explore more AI initiatives on the UN AI Resource Hub, and one of my colleagues will kindly put the link to that in the chat. Like we said, there is an official launch coming next week, so that means you really have seen this as a bit of a sneak preview, and you'll hear and see more about this soon. If you have questions on who your organization focal point is, who is doing the oversight of your organization's AI activities on the hub, you can reach out to ai.coordination@undp.org, and we'll let you know who to get in touch with. We will also have another round of Expo presentations in this exact format. So if you're interested to join as a speaker and present your showcase, then you're very welcome to. The next Expo will be in the third week of January to really kick off the new year strong. So feel free to reach out to either myself at digital@un.org or Fiona, whose contact will also be in the chat. So we've promised a lot of content in the chat. I'll keep the session open for you to add additional questions. We will put all this information there for you to check out, and you can expect a recap of the session for anyone who's participated, that you can pass on to any colleagues who've missed it, and we'll make sure that any questions that have been shared will be addressed there. All right.
Maybe just because I saw a question in the chat, where would you share the recap?
The recap will be shared with, I believe, both of our community's mailing lists, and we'll make sure that whoever is not on the mailing list but has attended will be shared this via email. So we'll just check who joined us today in the session and reach out by email.
Fantastic. Great.
Also, apologies. Generally, all resources that we share as part of this, all events, all webinars of the UN 2.0 communities are always shared on UN Innovation Network, which is a link that's in the chat right now. One sec. Yeah, so if this has made you curious and this is the first event you've participated in, you can go and check that out too. Over to you, Fiona.
Oh, super. That covers everything. And just I also added a link in the chat to the Data Community Knowledge Hub, where we'll share the recap as well for the data community members. And you can also explore past webinars we've had on various topics. So that's all. Thank you so much, everyone. Huge thank you to Julia. Really looking forward to the next session. But for now, everyone take care and have a good rest of the year.
Thank you. And a massive thank you, obviously, to all of our speakers. And thank you for being so engaged in the Q&A. Looking forward to our next session. Hope to see you all there. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.